What if Deku and Bakugo were brothers? Part 2. Now, where I left off, Izuku carried Ochako Uraraka over to Recovery Girl's office, and when she opened the door, he passed out. Now, from there, Izuku would wake up as he'd just say, my head. I can't really remember what happened today. As he would look down to see Ochako Uraraka right by his side, he said, Whoa, wait. Now everything's coming back to me. As he would nudge the sleeping girl, waking her up, as he would then say, Why'd you stay here with me? It's kind of weird, you know. As Uraraka would then just say, Well, I couldn't just let the person who saved me be here all alone, could I? Suku would then just think, Well, that does make sense. As he would smile down at Uraraka, as he would say, Thanks. As Recovery Girl would then walk into the office saying, good, you're awake. Now, I was able to fix your broken arm, but I suggest not using it for a couple days. Still might be in pain. Izuku would just thank Recovery Girl as he would start to walk home, seeing that it was dark, so he offered to walk Uraraka home, since he was already going to be walking home, so he might as well just walk her home as well. So she would thank him for that, as he would just drop her off at the house and then walk back to his house, as he would then be yelled at by Mitsuki saying, What the hell were you out so late, you idiot? Izuku would of course just say, I passed out during the UA entrance exam, so I was sent to Recovery Girl's office. Yeah. As Mitsuki would then just say, sorry for yelling at you then. Now, Izuku would then just train for the next 2 weeks, just anxious about wanting to know, did he pass the entrance exam or not? As he would then receive something in the mail with a UA stamp on it, as Bakugo would also receive something similar to that, as Izuku would then see that it had the UA stamp on it, so he'd rip it open as fast as he could, as he'd click the little button on top, as All Might would then shine from a hologram. So he'd say, Young Suku, I thank you for taking my power. Now you will become one of the greatest heroes, as you're attending the greatest hero school of all time, UA. Now Izuku would just get excited, saying, I made it. Now I just have to wait these next 2 weeks to actually finally be able to go to it. Now the 2 weeks would pass as Izuku would walk into UA, as he would then be greeted with Uraraka sitting at a desk, as Izuku would sit next to her and just start a small conversation. Uraraka, I see you made it. How was your 2 weeks of waiting? She would then say, it's fine, I was just really nervous about if I'm going to be able to make friends or not. Zuko would then just say, understandable. I feel like I would have had that problem too. I didn't have as much friends as I did in middle school. Now, from there, the rest of the students that were in Class 1A would walk into the classroom, as they would then just be greeted by the sign of a yellow caterpillar-looking thing on the ground, as somebody was about to poke it, as it would then stand up and unzip the sleeping bag that it was in, as Shota Aizawa would then step out of the sleeping bag and say, I'm your Class 1A teacher. Put these PE uniforms on after going into the locker rooms and then go to testing ground A. Now, the students would just be confused about how such a tired teacher could be a teacher or even a hero, so they would just confusedly grab their uniforms, put them in the locker rooms, then go down to testing ground A, as they would then just be greeted with the sign of Aizawa there, as he would toss a ball to Zuku, saying that he got the highest in the entrance exam and to throw the ball. So Zuku would just thank Aizawa, as he would then wind back his fist and chuck the ball as far as possible, as Aizawa would then clock it, say, 1,000 meters. It's pretty good. Alright, you, Katsuki, you're Suku's brother, correct? You scored the second highest. So just you go now. As Aizawa would then throw a ball to Katsuki, as Bakugo would then just wind back his fist, say, "Die!" chucking the ball as far as he possibly could. Aizawa would then say, 705 meters, 300 less than your brother. Suggest you work on your cork. Now from there the rest of the students would go, as Suku would see Uraraka get an infinity on the ball test as he'd go up to congratulate her. The rest of the class doing the same, saying, "Geez, Uraraka, I didn't know you had that cork. Seems like it could be interesting and very helpful in rescue." As Uraraka would just say, "Yeah, I think it would be. It's what my main focus is, not really to fight, but more towards the rescue side. My favorite hero is actually 13, because she or he, it's kind of confusing about their gender, but they're a great rescue hero." Izuku would just say, "Yeah, that's true." Now from there, Izuku would score first on that cork test, with Bakugo in second, Todoroki in third, and Momo in fourth. Todoroki would then walk up to Izuku as Izuku was walking it back to the classroom and saying, "So, I see you have 2 corks." Izuku would then look at Todoroki and says, "Huh, so you figured that I have 2 corks. I saw how you have 2 corks as well, fire and ice. And yet you don't use your fire. Is there something wrong with it?" Now Todoroki would then just say, "I will be the best hero. I won't have to use my fire. Show my old man that I'm better than everybody else." Zuko would just look at him and say, "Good luck with that. No heroes have ever been the greatest by only using half their strength." Izuku would then walk home, as he'd just be wondering, that was a very confusing interaction. I might as well not mind it, I guess. Really wasn't anything behind it either. Now, from there, Izuku would walk back to his house, as the next day would come, causing for the Heroes vs. Villains assignment. And now a quick ad. Now that the ad is over, we can get back into this what if. Now, Izuku would walk to school with Bakugo like normal, as Bakugo would just be sitting there talking, as they would then hear All Might running through the door, as he would say, "Today we're doing a Heroes vs. Villains assignment. Now, let's get into the teams. Izuku and Ochako Uraraka is the first team, and they will be going up against the villains, Bakugo and Ida." As Izuku would then wonder what is going to happen, as they'd walk down after putting their hero suits on, as they would then just be forced to wait 5 minutes as Bakugo and Ida would be hiding the bomb. Now from there, Izuku would give the plan to Uraraka to just try to avoid the fight, as it's going to be brother versus brother, and that's basically going to be an insane rivalry that they want to take on alone. Uraraka would then just say okay to Izuku, as she would walk away from that, as Izuku would then walk into the building with Uraraka using her gravity to go under the roof. Now Izuku would walk in, as he would be face to face with his brother Bakugo Katsuki. Izuku would then say, "So, the time has finally come for us to face each other. Let's see what will happen." As Izuku would then use his explosions on his feet. Now, this is the part where I'm going to explain things. Now, a lot of his classmates wondered why Izuku did not have shoes on. One of the abilities he discovered is that One for All allowed Izuku to use explosions in most parts of his body, like his feet and his arms. So Izuku would choose not to have shoes on, as he would then just use the explosions to boost towards Bakugo, as he would slam his hand right at Bakugo, sending a massive explosion indoors, which would cause half of the building to collapse. As Bakugo would then have his eyes widen as he say, "What? Not even I can do that. Yeah, we have the same quirk. That's impossible." As Bakugo would then charge right at Izuku, just going all out, as they would then engage in an explosion versus explosion fight. Izuku, only using his explosions as one for all, really wouldn't help him here, as he was using it to use the explosions through his feet. So it would then go down with Izuku throwing an explosion at Bakugo, who would be sent black as he'd hit his head against the side of a building, as he would then black out. So he'd be like, "No, how? We have the same quirks, and yet his is stronger. This isn't. Can't let him win. I'll show him I'm the best, the stronger brother." As Bakugo would then erupt into this massive explosion, balls would surround him, as Izuku would step back and be like, "What? What is this power? It's almost as if it's radiating off of him." As Bakugo would then just widen his arms as the explosion would disperse, as it looked as if he was the explosion. As Bakugo would then snap his fingers, as an explosion would be sent right at Izuku, as he would be forced to jump back. How? He's become the explosion. Not even I could do that. It seems as if he's even more powerful than me, even with One for All. There's no telling how strong this ability could be. As Izuku would then just charge right at Bakugo, hoping to try to land at least one hit, as he'd send an explosion right at him, only to have Bakugo absorb the explosion, causing Bakugo to grow a little in size, as Izuku would then say, "Damn it, that's not gonna work." As electricity would erupt from all around him, now Izuku using his 15% of One for All, as Izuku would charge right at Bakugo, only to be smashed across the side of the road, as Izuku would then charge right back at Bakugo, using his most powerful attack, using 100% of One for All in his arm, as he'd throw the punch right at Bakugo, as Bakugo would then catch the punch, as Izuku's arm, now broken, would cause Izuku to collapse from energy loss, to see a scene that most of Izuku's classmates couldn't forget. Izuku looked stronger, and they even thought he was stronger than Bakugo, but yet Bakugo defeated him so easily in this form, as they would just see a collapsed Izuku with this explosion Bakugo holding Izuku's broken arm right there, as Izuku would just be collapsed on the ground with his arm dangling in the air. As Izuku's last thought before going unconscious would just be like, "One for All must be blocking me from harnessing that power. I shouldn't have been selfish. I shouldn't have took its quirk." As Izuku would collapse from energy loss, fully unconscious. And that's where I'm going to leave this What If off, guys. I hope you guys did enjoy What If Deku and Bakugo were brothers, part 2. I thank you all for watching once again, and goodbye!